Daniel Boylan defies easy description. And I should know, because he's only one of two students that I've taught all 4 years of his high school career. He's the only student that I've taught all 4 years and had as a member of my advisory. Now, some might say Daniel is a living paradox. He excels at both art and athletics, which is really not a paradox, despite what our society might have you believe. Now, I know a thing or two about art, especially comic book art, and Daniel can whip up a sketch in a few minutes that I would gladly hang on my wall alongside the work of other professional artists that I greatly admire. I don't know as much about hockey, and I've never had the chance to see him play, but I know enough to know how dedicated Daniel is to his sport and how good he is to play at the level that he does. I guess the real paradox of Daniel, the artist, versus Daniel, the goalie, is how he has time to do both without actually being two different separate people. And he's a musician too. Now, moving on to more paradox evidence. I don't think a comb has touched his hair the entire time that I have known him. But he's also one of the sharpest dressers in the school on formal dress days. He's always more formal than he needs to be, and no one can rock a bolo tie the way Daniel can. He slept through most of my ancient world history class when he was a freshman. I saw his face so infrequently due to his head being down on his desk that I doubt I could have picked him out of the police lineup. And now he's an honors student, though he has not lost his ability to fall asleep at any time, anywhere, under any circumstances. There's also his ability to fit just about any type of food into his pocket. Most importantly, when someone is as talented as Daniel is at so many things, they can also be completely insufferable to be around, but not Daniel. To me, that is the most amazing thing about Daniel. Just how awesome a guy he is. When you see Daniel in the hallway, he's never alone. He's always surrounded by people because Daniel is a great guy to be around. He's warm, he's caring, he's funny, he's humble, he's a good listener, he's a great storyteller, he's fun. Simply put, even if he sleeps through an entire year of one of your classes, you still can't just not like the guy. Now, about 2 weeks ago, during the Odyssey of the Mind competition, I learned just how far Daniel's likability had spread. It turns out there's a dance. Now, this existed well before this moment right here. It was not designed for this. But I'd like to invite Sydney and Helen of the 6th grade to the stage to share their tribute to the awesomeness of Daniel. Thank you, Sydney and Helen. Now please join me in welcoming Daniel Boylan.
Thank you, Mr. Lane, and Sydney, and Helen, for that wonderful introduction. introduction to my chapel talk. Well, I'm actually here to talk to you guys about decisions that we've made, and more specifically through example my own. And to be here as a senior at Stuart Hall, trying to give some story with a moral, that might be a bit difficult for the people that know me well, or the people in my advisory, or the people in my grade, or maybe if you've seen me around the school. But the one school organization that I am a part of right now is the student government, which I have been voted in for by the student body. I don't know why you guys do that, but I appreciate it. So I guess this is my example, or my opportunity to show you guys that maybe I am responsible to be at Stuart Hall. So I guess this really starts off at Stanton Public Library, 1:30 in the morning, pitch black, with two people, Theo Trump and Milo. It was a big question that was actually asked of me. If you could go back for the past 4 years and restart your high school career, go back to when you were a freshman at Stuart Hall, with all the knowledge that you have right now, would you do it? I mean, why not? So I guess to really show you guys why not, I mean, all these decisions that you've made that you regret and everything that you want to take back, you could do it. I mean, why wouldn't you? So I guess for me, this really starts when I was a freshman and decided to go to Stuart Hall. I'm actually from Lexington, Virginia, despite being a day student. So I was actually going to go to the public schooling in Rockbridge. And I decided against that so I could start anew as a freshman at Stuart Hall. But coming to Stuart Hall also meant that I would play for the ice hockey team in Charlottesville. Charlottesville is just closer than where I used to play, so I decided to choose that. And really, if you don't know me, hockey is a big part of my life. I started playing when I lived in Wyoming, and I've been playing for the past year since I've been in Virginia. And maybe if you've seen me around, you might see me with a hockey jersey, breaking dress code. But that's really why, and hockey just has a big part of my life. And really also being a freshman here, it was a great opportunity to meet new students that I've never met, and new friend groups, and just explore that. It was fantastic. I could meet so many new people, and it was going fantastic. And it kind of fell apart because that summer I wasn't able to keep intact and keep in touch with everybody because I was sleeping on a couch in Rome, and time zones, I couldn't talk to anyone. So coming back as a sophomore at Stuart Hall, I had that opportunity all over again to get back with people, meet new people, people I hadn't talked to before. Really to do that, also coming with that, I decided to play for Roanoke. The Roanoke Earlier Dogs is the team that I played for. They spelled dogs with a W. I had played for Roanoke the years before, and it was an opportunity, but coming with that, it was an abysmal season. I think we lost almost every game. It worked out in the end because, I was still at Stuart Hall. I was able to meet these friends, and I had this unbreakable friend group. You could find us in the study hall, in the little study room in the library, one of those small little rooms that we're not allowed to, spend time in anymore. I might take a little bit of credit for that, because you could always find us in there being really loud and obnoxious, and just being shushed for, being too loud and obnoxious. And over the summer, I was actually invited to a main camp, which is the last kind of tryouts for a 21 and under team. At the time, I was a sophomore, right? 15 years old, 21 and under hockey team. I wanted this so bad, and it was such a great experience. But if I went, this is Richmond, 2 hours away, I wouldn't be able to attend Stuart Hall anymore. I'd have to live in Richmond with a team and a family that I've never known. And I couldn't do that. I wanted to come back to this friend group, all the people and the relations that I've made at Stuart Hall, the faculty. It was just too much for me to just give up right away, right there, right? So I came back, and with that, before that, they wanted to send me up to Massachusetts. I don't know what was up with that. Again, kind of too far away to attend Stuart Hall with. Also wanted to send me to Raleigh, North Carolina. Once again, 7 hours, you can't do that in the morning. So I decided to come back, as a junior at Stuart Hall. And I decided to play for Charlottesville again. Don't worry, season went even worse than the year before. Oh my goodness. The only team we actually were able to beat was that team. It was kind of rough. And to really go along with that unbreakable friend group kind of crumbled. I blame it for us getting kicked out of the study room, but hey, let bygones be bygones. But through that whole time, the really bad season, friends just, not everything was going perfectly. I felt really anxious. I just like, if I was up in Massachusetts right now, you know, New England, they're really into their ice hockey. And, you know, in Richmond, I'd be on the ice 5 days a week. It would be fantastic. I was just built up frustration, like, hey, I could be there. But instead, I'm playing for this really bad team in Charlottesville. And it was just really rough on me. So I reached out and I talked to every single coach and hockey team in New England. Teams from Connecticut, Maine, Massachusetts, Vermont, New Hampshire, and even a handful from Minnesota and Wisconsin. This is just maybe a quarter of the teams that I reached out to. One opportunity that I got for a while was I was talking with the guys up at Vermont Academy, a school that's somewhat related to Stuart Hall. It seemed to be going well until a fallout happened. They had 3 coaches in 1 season. That's not really a recipe for a great organization. So I had to pass on that. But I was actually invited back to Richmond to play for their 21 and under team, and I had to come to this hard decision. Hey, friends aren't as perfect as they were before. School's frustrating. I want to do this. I want to play 21 and under hockey, and going along with that, I was also invited out to another team, the Northern Cyclones up in New Hampshire. Once again, I'd have to leave Stuart Hall. And that was just so rough on me, and the decision was so hard because I would have to change schools. I would actually have to take school online. It would be really hard for me to do that. If you're a teacher, you know that would be hard on me. And really just living so far away from everything, although friend groups were starting up again and everything was happening, I'd be leaving my advisory, which is really great, land advisory representation. But really, it's the school itself, I'm so familiar with it, and I just came to like it. The students that greet me in the hallways, the people that I don't have close relations with but are always kind to me, that's something that I wouldn't get at an online school because it's online, there aren't students. So I made the hard decision and I decided, okay, fine, I'm going to come back as a senior, get those few lasting senior, things back, like stairs, I guess. And so I decided to come back here for my senior year because, you know, things were starting to look up. And over the summer, it got even better. I got together with, I think, 5 or 4 people. It was fantastic. Current Stuart Hall students and a couple alumni, and we did something admittedly nerdy, and we just played Dungeons and Dragons for quite a bit of time over the summer. I was able to rebuild my relations with new people and old people that I hadn't talked to for a while. And really, just coming back and remembering that the people at Stuart Hall and the friend groups that I've made here, and just the relationships that I've made aren't going to go away. And I guess the one thing, it might have been a little bit distracting here, but the whole chapel talk, I'm looking back and I'm like, why did I make those decisions? I could be somewhere better, but if I made those decisions, so if I was in New Hampshire, if I was in Vermont, if I was in Richmond, I wouldn't have been here over the summer with these people. I would have been up there in main camp. I would not be having a good time. And I'm really happy for this. Honestly, that's you can see Ricky and Katie, Stuart Hall alumni. Some teachers might remember them. And it was up there. And really, coming back, that was a decision that I'm not going to regret. And what you need to do is, when you're looking at the decisions that you've made in the past, you can't just keep focusing on the bad and the harsh things that have happened, because you're not going to go anywhere from there. If you look at the positives and you just get the best things out of the decisions you've made, that's what we really stick with. So if that's one thing to take out of it, maybe it's that. So thank you. Seniors will be dismissed.